Hi, everyone out there. We're back. And it's episode 40. What the fuck?
This is 40, starring Paul Rudd and probably Leslie Mann. I don't know.
No, this is 40, starring Fred,
40-year-old
Dan,
Fred.
and Paul. Oh my god, I'm 40 in a week.
In a week?
Yep.
What day?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. So after the guest episode.
Oh wait, no, sorry. That's not next Wednesday. That is Thursday? Wait, hang on. Thursday. Next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Thursday.
Got time to recover.
So, week and a half.
You gonna party hard?
God, I hope not. Too old for that shit.
Are you gonna party at all? Are you gonna go out? Nice restaurant?
No, probably not.
Wear something? No, you're not gonna wear a tie or anything?
What's
No.
What's,
God, no.
what's for the B-Day playlist?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah,
It's Thursday, so I'll be working. So whatever I feel like listening to from my desk.
yeah. I was
I
seeing
don't-
today you were like grabbing a lot of stuff. How do you go about choosing what you want to pick to listen to?
Honestly, it just like whatever comes to mind that I feel like hearing. Like my listening habits kind of go through phases, and they're usually either by country or by label, and bands that I associate together through those things.
That makes sense.
So like I'll go on like Norwegian black metal binges. I'll go on like South American death thrash binges, French black metal, which is where I'm at right now. I've been listening to French black metal virtually nonstop for the last like week or two.
When you said
But
I
sometimes
go on
I'll listen to like
Norwegian-
labels, like one of my favorite labels, Autistic Utility Records. I mean, it's all black metal, but they're not like particularly samey sounding bands. But if I listen to one band on there, Malveillance or whatever, I'll usually like hop over to like Branicald or Shadow Order, whatever else is on there.
yeah, it seemed like most recently it was kind of all over the place though. You had Blood and Oppressor and
Oh, yeah.
Dead Horse and
Yeah,
Ceremony.
last night was mostly just old school death metal, mostly American. I think I threw some Blood and Carnage in there as well. I think Cryptal Darkness too, because that demo's friggin' great. But yeah, no, I was in a old school death mood last night,
There you go.
and I've been listening to Blood basically all day today, because Blood's awesome.
You and your blood.
Me and my Blood.
Why does Shadow Order sound so familiar?
Because it's kind of a generic name.
Oh, I was about to say they're from Greece. I think that makes sense. Oh,
They are.
I know why
Yeah.
they're familiar. It's the same guy from. Well, this was part of our black metal trivia when we did that. It was a question about the drummer, that Aether guy, who was in.
Oh, that was in
Gauntlet Sword
Nirvana.
and- Yes, and Dark Thule.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Dark Thule. For some reason, I think those are the most similar to Shadow Order.
Yeah, they're kind of a weird band. They're not around anymore, are they? No, they're not.
No, I think the last thing was 2006.
Yeah. Raise the Banners was the one on Autistic Telly. That one's cool. But it's kind of like split into two sections because the version on Autistic Telly has like extra tracks that sound completely different than the actual release. It's weird.
I'm gonna have to check this out again. It looks like it would be cool.
Yeah, it's lo-fi, but it's a good listen.
It looks like that Nocturnity band kind of artwork with the like shining night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very very similar in look. Well, the guy from Nocturnity makes his own armor.
Oh, does he? Yeah, that's why it
Yeah.
looks so Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. No, I don't know if he still does it, but he used to. Used to be able to order like pieces of armor from him,
I was gonna say that's like the best merch.
right? I'm wearing my Nocturnity chainmail today.
Bro.
Long sleeve chainmail
Sick.
or hoodie.
Can you hear me chewing chips?
I don't know. What do you guys been listening to?
Yeah.
You can't hear me chewing
Pretty
chips?
fucking annoying.
Pretty fucking annoying. Yeah. Yeah, see,
Excuse
that
me.
was the beauty. You know, I think it was actually kind of a nice curse that I had before where you couldn't hear outside music or outside noise coming from my mic. 'Cause
Yeah.
You couldn't hear me chewing. You couldn't hear me whizzing in a bottle. And now that's all changed. I have to mute myself now. Let's see.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. The only way it would be a blessing is if I can like do another intro as opposed to that one time where I tried and you guys left it in and made me look like a fucking asshole. Yeah, right after work I was listening to that Hot Stove demo, which is pretty good.
Oh, corpse
Waco
turned
Jesus.
sour.
Yeah, the corpse turned sour.
Yeah.
Paul, have you ever heard that thing or no?
No, but I remember you guys saying that's like pre-Waco Jesus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really groovy, like and kind of
Yeah, it
funky. It's mid paced. It doesn't really get too fast. And I know, Paul, you said you were kind of iffy about the vocal stylings of like, oh, it's death metal, but you can actually hear every word that he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. You can basically hear everything, and you like. I was listening to it, and I knew exactly what these songs were about. Just kind of. Hearing the vocals, like not even paying attention, they're just so fucking in your face. Like that first song, "The Corpse Turned Sour." I think he's talking about like going to a graveyard looking for his family or something, and he's like, it's almost like that Metallica song where he's like, "Dear mother, dear father," whatever song that is.
Stars Eve.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. What's that song called? John Doe,
I don't
think?
know,
The guy who doesn't know his identity.
something like that. But yeah, the Hot
Yeah, yeah.
Stove song, this Hot Stove song, he's like, "Mother, father, could you be my family? Brother, sister, are you related to me?"
Yeah. It's a good demo, but I like it from the song after that. That one, the lyrics kind of don't.
Kill it for you.
They're a bit too goofy.
The lyrics for the next song are weird too. That's the one where he's talking about like grave robbing, right?
You know, I'm on it right now, and the lyrics to the first song, John Doe, exhumation begins. The first lyrics to the next song, Charred Remains, exhumed from the grave. There's a theme going on here.
Yeah, it's corpses. The second one's about or no, I'm thinking of track 5, Cryptic Thievery. Again, it's
Yeah.
about the
first lyric,
opening
rob the
lyric is
tomb.
rob the tomb, yeah.
How?
At night with my shovel, I search for the site. A wealthy cadaver awaits. Where does he say? Where rich corpses are kept. A graveyard in Beverly Hills. Their trinkets kept me fed. I take your jewels and knock them off. A guy's got to eat. A guy's got to rob the grave. A grave robbing thief.
Man, they're
A
just
guy's
in,
got to eat.
they're just in fucking the thesaurus with those lyrics, huh? Like, how many times
Yeah.
can they say the same thing in a different way?
They'll find a way.
Big boys got to eat, right?
Yeah, I got that compilation. What label was it? Doomed to Obscurity Records. They reissued the Hot Stove stuff. It's pretty good.
It's an interesting name too, and if you look at the album art, the name Hot Stove actually kind of makes sense. It's like there's a little stove with a pot on it, but then next to the like going into the wall where the gas comes out, there's a corpse like on fire. So it's like a
Yeah.
corpse powered stove, is what it is. I'm guessing.
That's good.
So yeah, Hot Stove. The hell was I listening to? I was listening to that Depressi. I don't know how to pronounce her name. From Slovakia. That kind of
Yeah.
like melodic death metal band. Yeah,
a weird name.
they're pretty solid, and they're pretty. I don't know. They just seem really fucking on the ball with their riffs.
Ballers.
I don't think I've ever really given
Follow.
them a listen. I've known the name for ages, but never actually played anything.
I was listening to a little bit of the Inquisition demos, like the thrash stuff. It's actually pretty cool. It's kind of like an evil neoclassical type of thrash with bad production, which is cool.
Yeah. I like the vocals. He does a lot of.
About to make Fred bust.
Oh, I'm about to bust.
Said it before, and I'll say it
And then,
again.
Did you ever hear that like goth rock band, Unto Others?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh no. Well, they're newer. I think they're kind of like metal adjacent somehow, but it's mainly just like goth rock from like, I don't know, 2000. Let's see, maybe 2019. I think the album came out. Unto Others. It's the one. Is it Mana? Yeah, Mana. This had some good songs on it. When you that Johnny Bravo that kind of reminded me of the song Jackie, where there's a part where like the music stops, he goes, "Oh, Jackie," and then the whole band goes, "Huh!" They do like a fucking flex. It's awesome. I might have to sample Jackie, cause that's such a good song too. Off Eisenwald.
Be a
Isn't
good
that
sample.
strange? Yeah, and they're off Eisenwald, fucking the record label. It's really not black metal at all. It's more like goth rock meets some sort of heavy metal. I'm not exactly sure what. Something like mid pace. Oh, I was checking something out that was kind of cool too. A side project from what's his name, dude from Goatfire. That's the Spanish or the Italian black metal we were talking about, Fred, right? Goatfire.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I was listening to one of his side projects. Pretty fucking raw and minimalistic. Martial Might. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No, haven't heard that.
It's
One
kind of
demo
cool.
in 2000. Wow.
Yeah, it's like war metal, but it's war metal that's kind of taking their influence from Vaughn, but not as
Okay.
hypnotic as Vaughn. It's kind of like, okay, you know what it's like? It's like fucking Unholy Archangel meets Vaughn is what it's like. If you remember what Unholy Archangel sounds like.
Yeah, I'm not offended by that mix.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, Unholy Archangel. I might want to cover them at some point because they're so fucking confusing and ugly.
Which release from them would you pick?
I don't know. I have to go back and really. I was thinking not the album because I think the EPs might be better than the full length.
Yeah. Yeah, the full length was a bit samey, I guess, but what's the EP called? The Wrath of Cosmosistus or whatever? That EP is awesome. It's so violent.
Yeah, let's see.
Fred gave you a trick question. He thought you were gonna pick the album.
No, he did.
No, I didn't.
But I know better.
I didn't think he would. I didn't think he would because the
It's significantly
like you said, like you said, the stuff that came before is just so much better.
Yeah, the EPs are just better. They're
Yeah.
the production sounds better. The songwriting is better. So it's probably going to be something like that.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
And I guess that's. I listened to a little bit of the Sabbath album from 2011 because I had never heard it before and I was curious to what it did. It's pretty cool.
2011. Is that Sabbath Trinity?
Yeah, Sabbath Trinity. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty black metal in the sense that there's not a lot of riffs in it. It's pretty repetitious. Like the
Yeah.
first track is one riff and then the outro is the next riff. That's it.
Is that Black Metal Scythe?
Yes, it is black metal scythe.
Yeah, that's a
But
great
somehow even with just one riff it stays engaging and exciting. It works as
They have a new album
black
coming out
as
this
black
year.
thrash like that. It's an interesting way to fucking it's an interesting approach to black metal. It's like, oh, black thrash, except the structure is black metal because they have one song or one riff in the song,
Yeah.
but it's actually good.
Dan, are we gonna see them when they come? In like October?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go for Freddy.
Yeah, we'll bring Vince and Rob.
Or we can meet Fred IRL. He can come.
Yeah, that
I
sounds good.
Would love to see Sabbath again.
You got time.
Are they playing?
When are they- when and where are they
just
playing?
over there,
What are
or
you
are
looking
they
at
playing like
there?
several stops?
They're gonna be in LA through Uh, what is it? Born for Burning. Let's see. October 4th,
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, yeah. Christian will probably want to go too. He likes Devil Worship, or at least that's the song he fucking plays constantly. I don't remember. I don't know if he knows any other songs, but I know he likes that one.
Yeah. Sabat is probably the best show I've ever been to.
And Fred's been to a lot of shows.
I don't think I've been to more than the typical metalhead.
Like 200.
Oh, 200?
No, not even close.
Really?
No. I don't even
Dude,
think I've been to 100.
Dude, not too long ago, I was kind of recollecting all the shows that I've been to, and that includes non-metal shows, and that includes shows that we've played, and like every show, everything that could constitute a show. I counted about 100 from what I can remember, and like old flyers and going through Facebook and like invites and things like that. So I think it's been around 100 throughout the years.
Yeah, for sure. I have
The-
less than you.
The list of concerts that I've kept is all non-metal. Or sorry, all metal shows. The non-metal ones I didn't really jot down, but I haven't been to a ton. I've seen the Smashing Pumpkins 3 or 4 times. Alice in Chains and Marilyn Manson, I think.
Well, I saw your list of like metal shows you've been to. There was quite a few in there. I remember.
Yeah, but I went like a fairly long stretch without going to shows at all. So I think for my age, a lot of people who have been into metal for their whole lives as well, or for a good chunk of it, I've probably been to more because I went like there was a solid
Consistently.
like 6 or 7 years where I didn't go to anything.
I would say me too, or something close to that. 'Cause, yeah, there was a while where I wasn't going to any shows, and still now it's kind of sparse these days.
Yeah, not a ton has come through ever since things reopened that have interested me. That Cannibal Corpse show and the Thorn Spawn show are the only ones I've been to.
So you said you don't have anything planned for your birthday, right?
I do not.
What'd you do last year?
Fuck, I don't remember.
Surprise visit. Me and Dan come through on your birthday.
Give
Give me your address now. No, I'm just kidding.
Give me your address now, on the air.
Yeah, give it out on the air. People send you bombs and anthrax and things.
Ugh. More of the same.
I'm
What
not
was the
talking about
last-
the bands either? No, just kidding.
Yeah. Bombs and
No,
anthrax.
I think last year we just like ordered my favorite pizza and just called it a day, and that's all I wanted to do. That's probably all I'm gonna want to do this year as well.
Little Caesars, am I right, brother?
No. I mean, don't get me
It's not
wrong.
your fave.
I'll basically eat any pizza in front of me, but no, there's a local pizza shop that's really good, so probably just get that.
Like elementary school lunch pizza. Do you remember those? Those like blocks with the fucking plastic cheese and the like centimeter long fucking pepperonis.
Yep.
They weren't even centimeter. They were like a fucking millimeter long.
There's
That was
the
like I remember
square-
that was like the square things. That was like the
square
only
slices.
that was the only school lunch I remember specifically not liking. Like, oh god, it's pizza day at school.
I just remember like the hierarchy of the ones that you want to get. So like for me, like the top slice I wanted was one of the edge pieces, so you still had a crust to hold it from. And then like second place would be like the middle pieces because like okay, if I don't have a crust to eat it from, then at least I'll have like, you know, all cheese. And then there's the corner pieces, which is 2 pieces of crust and you got nothing else basically. Those were the ones you want to avoid. So if there's any kids out there who haven't had a pizza day yet, you know what it is. You know what to do.
Well, we got kind of lucky in high school. In high school, they would have restaurants like
Yeah, you did.
deliver. Getting lucky in high school. Yank. No, but they would have like restaurants bring shit to school. I remember they used to bring Pizza Hut, or in middle school too. They used to do that. They would have like the individual pan pizzas, and you could buy some of those. Those are great. And they had Panda
You got
Rice
catered
too.
to in high school.
Yeah, we got catered to. We got pizza from Pizza Hut, and then we got Panda Rice. And that's really weird because I don't think Panda Rice is even around anymore, right? I never hear about Panda Rice or see a Panda Rice.
I've never heard
I
of
think it
Panda
was just
Rice
kind of
before.
it was just like a knockoff of Panda Express. Yeah, Panda Rice used to come to our school. Or maybe it was Panda. I don't know what the fuck it was. I could have swore it was Panda Rice. Maybe it was Panda Express. Am I making something up about a fake restaurant called Panda Rice? I have to find out now. Panda Rice.
Paul's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's not new.
Yeah, they went bankrupt
Admitting it
after
is the
There-
first step.
No, there's a Panda Rice.
they went,
Oh my god.
They went
Look at
bankrupt
the-
after the school deal.
Oh, after the school thing? No, I'm looking at Panda Rice. The logo looks fucking weird. You know how like Panda Express has, kind of the silhouette panda on it? Panda Rice, if you look up the image for like the sign outside, it's a panda sniffing a bowl of rice and his nose is like they drew a giant fucking schnoz on him for some reason. You see what I'm talking about?
It's a schnoz panda.
Yeah. And then the second picture is some kid looking like overly excited at the fucking like glass where all the food is.
Well, I went to a record store today. The one where I got that Sodom original LP a while ago.
Want to see what else you can rip? What's it called? Take advantage of them for?
I mean,
Oh! Rip them off?
kind of. I mean,
What'd they
I
get?
paid for it. But yeah, no, I
With your soul you paid
found
for it.
the Crypts reissue of the Morpheus Son of Hypnos album, which is pretty cool. It's like yellow red magma vinyl.
Oh, I know.
Artwork
yeah.
is awesome. Apparently, the artwork is the guy from that is now the guitarist in Necrophobic. Didn't know that. Very,
That's
like,
not the
Geiger-esque.
that's not pre-Morpheus Descends, is it?
No, that's the American band. This is the Swedish one, Morpheus. Well,
Swedish one.
pre-Morpheus Defense was Morpheus, but this is a different Morpheus.
Let me see if I know what this is. And I'll tell you the truth if I don't. Let's see. Son of Hypnos. No. I saw you post this to our group, but no,
Yeah.
no. I don't. I'm afraid I don't know this one.
That's pretty
37% on Metal Archives. Potato death metal, somebody says. A dumpster fire. Riffs raped by lack of songwriting and production. Fred, what did you buy?
Hey, they're allowed to be wrong. But yeah, no, I'm talking to the guy there. He wasn't there last time I was there, and it's a mostly punk shop, right? And they have some metal peppered in there. And I'm just, talking to him about the selection, the metal selection he has. And he's like, you know what, you should have been here a few weeks ago. We had an original copy of Sodom in the Sign of Evil.
You're like, that
It was a
me,
beautiful copy. And he's like, but someone pulled the trigger a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, they did. That's me.
bro. See,
So the guy who runs the place already knows you're the guy looking for Sodom.
no, he didn't know.
Apparently. But it does now.
He still saw the smoking barrel when he came back. You're like, oh, that was me. Let's see. My weekly listening was that Coma Void that you showed me, Dan. That's really good.
Yeah, it's a good
Coma
one. You know that
Void.
one, Fred?
Has like
It's
the
It's fellas from Skeleton of God and Whore and Engorged is what it is.
yeah, it has like a appalling spawn kind of cover. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's
reminds me of.
like early 2000s death metal type stuff. If you remember Engorged or Whore
Yeah.
or Skeleton of God, but I think that band might have been around in the late 90s. I don't know.
Yeah, this is like
Oh,
sludge
I've
death
seen
metal.
this. I've seen this album cover before, but I've never heard it.
You know
Interesting.
Skeleton of
Huh.
God?
The
You know
urine-
Skeleton of God, Fred?
That's cool.
The urine garden.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the name. I couldn't tell you anything about them offhand.
Oh, it's the dudes from Hideous Corpse, like post Hideous Corpse,
Right,
which was cool shit too. I think Demented was the yeah, that's the one with the color with the pink and green logo there.
But yeah, after that, I
Oh, yeah.
got into Vince mode and I listened to the first time to Sparks, Kimono My House.
That's a good album.
Yeah.
Sparks is cool music.
Yeah, it's like prog adjacent, but like pop.
Yeah, I saw the documentary about the Sparks brothers. The one who looks like, well, you thought it was a woman, right, Paul?
Yeah,
You're
singing.
like, oh, some lady on vocals. Like, no, that's a dude. And then his his brother's on keyboards, and he has a little Hitler mustache. And like, I think his thing is, during the music videos or during like their like captured videos or whatever, he just kind of plays monotonously. He just has a straight face the entire time. Doesn't really.
No spark in them.
There's no. Yeah. Yeah, Sparks is cool. You know them, Fred, or no?
No.
It's like it's late 70s. It's kind of undescribable. I don't really think there's another band that sounds like them.
Yeah, it's like prog pop.
Yeah, I remember Matt. I posted a video of them, and Matt's like, "This is some fairy shit." I'm like, "Shut up! No, it's not. It's awesome."
But then, other than that, I was listening to Monsoon. It's like new wave, but I guess experimental. The album
Monsoon.
Third Eye.
I don't know Monsoon. I only know that new wave band Japan. I know that. I think there was a song by Sparks called, I think it was called like "I Like Women" or something, or "I Love Women" or something. And the guy from Revolted Excrements, he posted that song. He's like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, you had to make a song about it. Be undercover.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know. Well, they also had that song, the #1 song in heaven, which is kind of interesting.
That's what the song's called?
Mm-hmm.
How'd they know that?
Well, in the music video, it looks like they're in heaven, kind of performing, just them two. Because, you know, they started off as a band, but later on they went more like electronic side of new wave, and it's still good. They were the guys that had that song. They had a popular song, an 80s one. It was called All You Ever Think About Is Sex. You remember that song? That was like their most popular one.
Mm-mm.
All right with me. It's kind of like Soft Cell, where everybody knows Tainted Love, but they also had that song Sex Dwarf. And it's like some strange like lyrics about bondage and shit.
And why not?
Yeah, why not?
But then, other than that, me and Dan guested on another podcast without Fred.
Yeah,
that's
rude.
yeah, that's up. that'll be up for a couple weeks now when well, anybody listens to this. But yeah, we went on the Steel Toes podcast with Drew from Fossilized, who runs it, and then his co-host Aldo, who was in Ex Mortis for a little while, and a band called Prophecy, who played like Manowar-ish kind of stuff.
Now in Wizards of Oz.
Oh yeah. Now they're doing Wizard of Oz with our producer Damien.
Aussie cover band.
Yeah, but that was a pretty fun time. Paul, I don't know if you remember this, when we were kind of getting set up, Aldo kept like making all kinds of noise, and Drew's like, all right, be quiet real quick so I can test the levels. And right when he says that, Aldo bangs a beer into the microphone.
That sounds like a fucking something dropping in a cave or something.
And then Drew was asking us if he could use the cover art for the compilation, which is Josh and the van full of ghouls. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. And then Aldo goes, can we cue up Josh naked? and Drew's like, already starting with the gay shit.
He's like, what's wrong with you today, man?
Yeah, what's wrong with you today, man? A majority of that was taken up by Aldo. Aldo was kind of going on a bit, but that's okay. It's his show.
Yeah. Then we got into the genre talking.
Yeah, Aldo had a lot of questions about grindcore. What else did we talk about? Me and Paul were kind of like, I think Drew may have got the wrong impression of like we hate everything the way we were talking, But I think mostly what we were saying is like newer bands need to start branching out and experimenting more and getting some better ideas. I think that's basically what we were saying.
Yeah, we're just saying all the good stuff's pretty much been done,
Oh yeah, a lot of it's in the past.
and you just got like all the bands nowadays.
Few exceptions here and there.
are just like keeping the torch going, but not shedding any light anywhere new.
No. Well, I mean, it's hard at this point, right? Like, the genre's been going on for a while, so it's hard to find new ground to tread at this point
Let
without
metal,
deviating too far from what we want to hear.
let metal fucking die already.
Just fucking die already. Why you gotta be such a bitch?
Let's see, what else do I have
Yeah.
here? Oh, okay. So, I don't know if you guys ever get this, but do you get a lot of random messages on Instagram? Just from random people?
No,
Not
I
really,
get like
no.
the ones that are like, oh, buy my shit.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just spam, but...
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so... With my account, which... I forget how many followers I have, but I guess it's, like, decently popular for a metal collection page. But I get a lot of people messaging me, asking me, where I find this band, what I think of this band. That's all fine. Like, if anyone who's listening follows me, by all means, shoot me messages. I enjoy it. But
Yeah, bother
there's like
Fred.
2 or 3 accounts who just message me photos of releases that they own with no context, no conversation whatsoever. And like at first I'd respond saying, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
That's what they want.
and they wouldn't answer anything. And then like a week later I get another picture of something. And it's just bizarre. And on top of that, if it was like rare or unusual stuff, then mildly entertaining. But like, no, it's like stuff you can get off Amazon. Like a week ago, this guy just randomly sent me a picture of Marduk's World Funeral reissue. I'm like, okay, cool, I guess.
Hey, that's not that impressive.
Do they have like pages of their own, like on their profile? You could see them posting that shit, or
Yeah, they do. But
Okay.
like, they just send me the picture, or they'll just like forward their post, but they don't actually say anything to me about it. They're just like,
they're just shy.
just photo. I'm like, okay.
Makes you think some
But,
of
like,
these Instagram people are robots.
Right? But like one time, like I just wanted to see if he would react, but he sent me a picture of a Belphegor album. I don't know, one of the like newer ones, like Bondage, Goat Zombie, or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't really listen to them, but I just responded to something like, "Ooh, Belchagor," like
Belchagor.
spelling it wrong on purpose, and no answer. He just hearted the comment, and that was it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
You should have been like, "Who's that?" Then he'll go on.
What if you just said "fuck you"?
You don't know? Look it up.
Maybe we'll find out one day. I don't know, it's weird. But like, I like it when people randomly message me. I'm up for a conversation, but like, these guys don't talk. They just send me pictures of albums I've seen a million times before, and sometimes that I own like multiple copies of. I don't need to see this,
You should just take a picture
or
of it.
at least say something about it.
You should take a picture of your copy and just leave it at that.
There's a guy
Or just
on.
Or just send them back a picture of their own, the picture they sent me, but like mirror
Yeah.
image. Send it back to them
Yes.
upside down.
Some guy named Andres messaged the label page and he says, "Hey," with 3 Y's. And I said, "Howdy." And then he saw the message and nothing. But I'm
With
on
3
the
Ys.
I'm on
That's not just hey. That's hey.
Hey, well, I'm looking at this guy's profile. He looks like a black metal zoomer. You know what he looks like, Paul? Paul, do you remember that chick Erica and her boyfriend Miguel? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He looks like that.
Hmm.
Some metrosexual fucking black metal zoomer. All right. Yeah, he says hey. I said howdy. That's the way a man says hello, howdy.
Howdy. I love it.
You know, blood feast, Sabbath, Man-Thrash. Mm-hmm.
I was saving that for the pick.
Fred's pick is Man-Thrash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty Man-Thrash.
Or is it about that time to get to the pick? I don't
Well,
know.
if we
how
got
long we've been
nothing else to spit about.
I don't know.
I
Anyone?
think we caught up with all the news. I don't see why not.
Exciting episode next week, but we'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah, we'll just let that be a surprise.
And away we go.
All
Freddie.
right,
Fred,
then.
go.
This is Fred pick,
Go.
so 50-50 chance, people.
Yeah. It's, like, we went with a thrash pick this week, and I'm really excited because Paul historically does not like thrash, so I'm eager to hear what his thoughts on this one are. Because I did try to pick a thrash album that I thought, if there's a thrash album that I want to talk about that Paul would like, which one would it be? And I settled on Black Shepherd Immortal Aggression. And I didn't know this when I picked it, but apparently it's been reissued after being out of print for God knows how long. It came
It was
out like, what,
remastered
87?
and remixed and stuff too.
Yeah, I was listening
Yeah.
to that version.
I
Yeah,
didn't hear
me
that. I
too.
didn't hear that version. I just heard.
I
just
listened to
the,
both versions actually.
There's a big difference.
Which one sounds better?
The remastered is way more clear.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
I
pick
think
that up
so.
because I have the.
What did you think, Paul? The remastered version?
Well, I have only checked out the remaster version.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked them both out. The other one is it's just way muddier. I think you kind of get more bang for your buck with the remastered. But I'll give it back to Fred. Fred, give us some lore and sell this friggin' thing.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say about the reissue, though, is that they took away the fantastic Geiger-esque artwork that
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
was
lame.
on the original.
The artwork
And-
was awesome.
I think
So
both
the
of them are
artwork-
pretty good though. But I like
Yeah, the other one's
original.
not terrible. The other one's not terrible.
Well, the artwork was done by the lead guitarist, so Igor, and like I can almost see the conversation was like, "Hey, you know what? For our album, let's get Geiger to do the artwork, just like Celtic Frost." And then they're like, "Fuck, wait, it costs how much?" No, okay, Igor, just do it yourself.
Or they're like,
And-
oh man, he hasn't written back yet.
Yeah.
We gotta release
And this
thing.
album's gonna be coming. Yeah, we got to release this thing.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite thrash albums. It's what I love that it basically has two settings: balls to the wall fast, or the silence between the tracks, and that's basically it. Like, they didn't really pull any punches on this one, and it's kind of a weird sound. So they're from Belgium, and the first thing I heard when I really listened to this album was that it sounded South American to me. Especially the vocals. They sounded like very shouted and echoey, kind of like, I don't know, Mutilator or Holocausto. But you hear a lot of German Teutonic thrash in there as well. A lot of destruction and stuff like that.
Yeah, because those countries are pretty close to each other, anyways, in proximity, aren't they? Belgium, Germany.
I thought you meant Germany and South America. I'm like, yeah, they're
No.
on the same. They're on,
No, I meant
on
Belgium.
the same planet.
But I guess
That's where that one guy
in terms
fled
of
to.
like I guess in terms of like this sounding like South American shit. I mean, I always thought that a lot of that stuff sounded a lot like the German thrash, like Assassin and shit like that. Probably especially Assassin.
But shall we let everyone hear what we're talking about?
Yep.
All right.
do you wanna
I
do
guess
it?
we'll. Let's do mine first. State of Decay,
All right.
second track from the album.
We'll be right back.
Don't
Alright, we're back. When did they decide to end the track? They just kind of did.
When the drum kit broke.
They popped the
golly
snare skin.
gee willikers. Man, the vocals on this are fucking terrific. That you know, everything about this is kind of noteworthy and pretty like engaging, especially the fucking vocals. That's great.
Fucking Man-Thrash.
Yeah.
The vocals really make me think of South American like
Yeah.
death thrash, but that's
You think so?
Especially the
For me, it
backing
is.
vocals.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said,
Well,
it reminded me of Incubus.
yeah, it's weird.
It's kind of doing the same thing, but in a different, maybe just a different key, a different cadence.
I think his tone was reminding me of Rigor Mortis a bit, but you guys are silent every time I say it.
Reanimate me!
Yeah.
We
No,
don't know how to sing it
I
long
get
politely.
Nah, I get that. I think we're all kind of right in our own sense. I can see rigor mortis, but when Paul was, me and Paul were discussing this like earlier in the week, and he mentioned that, I thought, I'm like, it kind of, but there's something else that that's there, and I think fucking Sterling from fucking Incubus and Usurper for sure. That's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. I just
there's
love
something-
the solos on this track, and the whole thing just sounds like it's flying apart at the seams. Like if this thing were a car going down the highway, you'd have the mirrors falling off. You'd have like fucking the the gas cap just like dropping off at full speed.
Yeah, but
Even
you'd
a
be
wheel.
rolling on the rims.
Yeah, oh no, but you're still rolling full speed. Like there's
Yeah.
no slowing it down.
I say this every time for albums that I am enjoying. It's like this that the title of the album sounds like what it is. It sounds like Immortal Aggression.
Yeah.
It sounds like some
Yeah.
sort
Undying.
of ancient immortal gods playing fucked up like uh, inhuman kind of metal, dude. And I was thinking
Some
this.
ancient,
I was thinking this
immoral,
earlier
badly
too.
drawn god.
Yeah. I was thinking this too. I was thinking like this could be. This is actually more ferocious and aggressive than a lot of death metal is,
Yeah, straight up.
and it made me
Yeah.
think like I
Yeah.
think there are certain cases that thrash bands, like different routes that thrash bands can take, where yes, it definitely can be more aggressive than death metal is.
Yeah.
Depending on what
And
kind of
that's-
death metal you're playing. Some bands, some styles of death metal, this is more aggressive than that.
Yeah,
Which is
like this
cool
one I
that a
kind
thrash
of put
band
in the
can
same.
accomplish that.
I kind of put this in the same like realm as Morbid Saint and Overthrow from Canada.
Yeah,
where it's
for
just
sure,
like
Morbid
hyper
Saint.
aggressive thrash. But here's the real question, Paul. What did you think of this?
I thought it was awesome. It's good thrash. I think I think they only had one thrash break in the whole album.
Yeah, and the thrash breaks that they have are cool because they're not even like thrash breaks. They're like
It's just something
Fucking-
else from the fucking.
they're like crossover punk breaks, but with like kind of these majestic sounding little flourishes. Not quite like Destruction. They're kind of doing their own thing. It's kind of a majestic album, actually. You know, as raw and as fucked up as this is, the yeah, there's some sort of like majestic or like royal feeling to it. I don't want to say melodic because it's really not. It's kind of got its own identity, kind of aside from anything you would be like, oh, this is melodic heavy metal, or this is crossover thrash, or this is German thrash, or this is I mean,
It's fucking
there was
brutal thrash.
yeah, there was one band on the similar artist that I think the comparison makes a lot of sense. That was Grafspee from Uruguay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think from that I checked out Magnus and Schizo, and Schizo is fucking crazy from Italy.
Yeah, Schizo had some cool songs.
They were like blasting and shit. This guy is basically blasting the whole time too, but just doing the thrash beat. I like
What did you think
the
of
highest
Magnus?
tempo. I thought it was a little less intense than this one was, and
Did you
I
listen
think
to the first one? Because I mean, you had listened to the first one a long time ago, right?
yeah, I haven't refreshed myself with that. I just checked out that other one. I forget what it's called.
Scarlet Slaughter.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with that one either. I'm just familiar with that first one with the skulls piled up.
But I feel like this is a lot more black metal than death metal, but in a way that's like how Profanatica's black metal, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you could very well call that death metal too.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like a more brutal rendition of what black metal, is and can be.
I think that's the take that kind of makes me think of South American extreme metal, because I always found the South American bands really toe the line between thrash, black, and death. It can be any of those. And this one to me kind of like feels in that sense. It's like there's moments where I'm like, this is clearly thrash, sometimes it's clearly death, sometimes it's clearly black, sometimes it's all of it mixed together.
Well, in that sense, it could be thrown under the umbrella of like first wave black metal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because kind of like Invocator when we were not Invocator, goddamn Incarnator, when we were talking about them, we're saying like, well, there's things about this, that are black metal and death metal and thrash and heavy metal, and this kind of in the same sense, like there's enough riffs and enough different types of things going on where it could be really considered either of those things, which I think is a good, maybe the first wave thing might be a decent label to call these guys, just because they're doing so much, and right at a peak where thrash is kind of at its tippy top, death metal's kind of just beginning, and same with black metal. Black metal is kind of just in its like embryonic form, or not really even born yet.
But I feel like this is way more distinct from like the like Possessed and like Necrovore, like that side of death metal at that time.
What do you mean?
I feel like Black Shepherd is distinct from that. Like it's not so much. Like I hear a lot more punk influence in this rather than
there is for sure.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just like in a. I don't know, because it's definitely not like a punk spirit behind it. It's like purely metal, but
yeah. Look at the way the guys are dressed. That's a metal band, and look at their bass player. He looks like our third member. He looks like Raph.
Yeah,
like you said, Paul.
Yeah, don't zoom in, but he looks like Raph right there.
But I don't know. I always got like a grind aesthetic from the drumming sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Well, I got a grind aesthetic from the riffs too. There's parts where, well, this could be actually both grind and black metal. This kind of technique where they'll have just two power chords, simple power chords going back and forth, and sometimes it's going so that's the grind aspect. Other times it'll be like and that's kind of more of the like the black metal aspect, like something Iljarn might do, or just really any future black metal band might do. There's kind of hints of grind, black, kind of. There's like one part in particular, I think it's on the song Kill the Priest, where they have something that could be like a bolt thrower riff, but way, way fucking faster and just tuned higher. But they make it work more aggressively than even an aggressive death metal band like that would.
Man, why did bands slow down? Because like this is insanely fast shit. Like I can't imagine how much time it took to get a live rehearsal done of this, and then to get it perfect for recording, because I don't think this is there's no way that this wasn't recorded live.
I think a lot of the Brazilian stuff and like sloppier German and like not Eastern European, but
they're a little bit more put together than the Brazilian stuff, especially the drumming.
Yeah, a bit. Like they still kind of fall off the rails a little bit, but they still, maybe it is slightly more in sync than some of the Cogumelo bands would be.
Yeah, because they're like already in another riff, but it's like the same kind of drum beat going the whole time, so you don't even notice when, it changes. They have like certain interstitial riffs, but they only do it like twice, and then it's like moved on.
Yeah. They do them either as an intro, or they like have an intro riff, then they'll do the interstitial riff for like a count or two, and then they'll move into something completely different. I really like that, and the interstitial riffs are always like really cool.
They're standout too. It's like
they're super standout. It kind of like, if you're kind of slumped over listening to this, when you hear the transition for a count, you sit up in your chair, you're like, oh, and then it changes, and then it goes into fucking hyperspeed.
Yeah, and I like in this song they're like, so one solo's not enough. You gotta do it again.
Exactly. Kind of like, like I mentioned Assassin before. Paul, I think I've mentioned this about the second Assassin album, the song Baka. There's probably like 9 solos on that fucking song. Baka! And that's awesome. I really like that fact. But like, you were saying, like, why did bands stop going fast? I think even compared to death metal, like newer death metal bands and war metal bands of right now, those bands are still going fast, but the riffs aren't going fast. If you notice, like, a Black Death band will be like, but then the drums will be going fast. But the guitar riffs is not going fast. They're not really. It's almost hypnotic. It's almost like a
just
hipster
keeping
would,
the time.
It's almost like a hipster would like it, and a hipster would be like, yeah, because remember that was the thing for a while. Everyone's like, hey, why the fuck do hipsters like black metal now? Yeah. And they were like going to shows. I remember I would see them at the Black Twilight Circle shows, and there would be guys with not the kind of hipsters that I'm totally offended by now, the ones with the beanies, but like actual 2010 hipsters.
Yeah.
There is a difference, and I would take those hipsters over the whatever you call it now, these like skater types.
Yeah, embrace tradition, reject modernity.
That's right.
We need the old hipsters back.
Yeah,
but they already did that.
I want my binky back. You want your
Well,
binky back?
I guess we should clarify too that the version we listened to
Oh yeah,
Was
is
the
the
remastered version.
unremastered version.
Oh, it
yeah.
was the unremastered version. Okay, right.
Yeah.
but then my ass, the
And, like-
whole week I was listening to the remastered version, which is
It's the same songs, dude.
they're in a different order, and I think like, I think sequencing is a big can make or break an album for sure.
Diligence.
Because like the remastered version, it's like they're like just going and going and going, and then the last song, which is what I picked, is the only one that had like a thrash break in it, like a substantial one. So it was like they didn't stop until the end. But like I think it's here on the B side, somewhere. Yeah, the 10th track. But yeah. Anyway,
Make sure you give extra broccoli to my young ward here. Would you quit calling me boy? The boy needs his nutrients. To the broccoli. Away. Sorry, that was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
It sure
where they-
was.
That was the one where they break him out of the retirement home. There's evil afoot.
now finish my memoir in
I think that was a different Mermaid Man. That was like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 2, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What the? What
Well, I
the
remember
fuck
they
even
were still
happened
in
there?
that home there though.
No, they never left the home. I don't think. I think they always lived there, and then they just went to like the what the fuck was it called? What was their lair called? I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I remember the invisible boatmobile and the orb of confusion and the Mermalayer. That's what it was.
Mermalayer.
Yeah, because Barnacle Boy like puts the conch shell in his underpants. He goes, "I'll destroy this when I get back to the Mermalayer," and then he tosses it in his underpants, and it goes, eh. It like makes a honking sound.
But what's the next song we should sample? Dan or me? You picked Animal, right?
Yeah. I was gonna go with Animal.
Yeah, why don't we do that one?
All right. I think that's the 9th track on the original release. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back from that, and
Black Flag.
I just remembered Fred didn't say that it sucked, so that
So
first
I should
track.
say for this one.
No, you're good because it didn't suck.
No, you don't got to say that anymore. Fred, you don't have to put on this front anymore.
That's
You
not,
could be yourself, man.
I could
Yes.
just be myself.
It's not
I've
you.
waited for this.
I've waited for this day for so long.
Yeah, 40 episodes in.
40
episodes
years in.
I can stop saying everything sucks.
You can be true. If it does suck, you can say that. Well, you can actually say whatever you want. I hold no. Your shackles are lifted here.
No, but man, awesome song. It starts off with the little intro going up and down the strings, and it's like you could hear the fucking
fakes you
guitar
out a bit,
knobs.
doesn't it?
Yeah, you can hear the guitar knobs turn up as high as they go, and then they just thrash out.
Yeah, just before it ends too, because when the guitar knobs go up, that part, the clean part is still going, and then okay, it's about to get fucked in like a millisecond, and then it does, and then the riff you get there is kind of a faster, more complicated version of like Sign of Evil from Violent Force. Is that the band's name? Violent Force?
I was thinking it was like kind of like a black metal pagan thing, like because it
Yeah,
could
it
have
could
like
be
a
too.
beat like this, like, but it's just like going thrashing the whole time.
Yeah. Are either of you guys familiar with the song Sign of Evil from Violent Force? Do you remember that one? Because that
No.
like happens to be one of my favorite German thrash songs. And again, like Paul said, I know what you mean by the paganish drum beat, because the same thing could be done on the Violent Force song, but it just does a D beat. So it starts off with like a bass going how the fuck does it go? It's like do doom do do doom do do doom do do
Yeah,
doom
the
do
D
doom
beat,
do do doom do do doom do do doom. But yeah, they kind of keep that thing going, and even with the intro riff, it's like so it's fast, aggressive, somewhat fucked thrash, but it has this like epic and majestic melody behind it that works, kind of doing no matter like doing whatever you want with the drums. You can be going as fast as you want, and that's still going to be an epic fucking like majestic type of part.
Yeah, it was sick, like,
Yeah.
because he can do whatever he wants on the drums, but he's like, no, let me just
Yeah.
Everyone-
I think that's the point.
everyone keep up with me, and they actually do.
Yep.
Versus like how you're saying about like death metal being like slow riffs, like no one's trying to keep up with the drummer anymore.
Yeah, there might be some. Like I said, not every death metal band. I was
Yeah.
just thinking of like Gorelust, and that's probably an exception, because I remember them being pretty darn fast.
Yeah.
But let's say like normal death metal bands. I compared it to like Bolt Thrower. They would be going faster than Bolt Thrower would.
Yeah,
Even though
going
Bolt Thrower
faster
does some
than-
fast. Even they do some fast shit. But
Yeah, it's going faster than Cannibal. It might be up there with Legion. They're going pretty quick, but Legion's just so dynamic.
Hmm.
And
I love what
that
you
just
said,
reminded
Paul,
me.
about the whole album being, or this track. I don't know if you meant this track or the album in general, but being very war metal adjacent. Like a lot of Voivod in there, just a lot of just chaos.
Oh, the whole album. It's just like, it's like
Yeah.
the thrash part of war metal is just like refined, to the foundation here.
Yeah, we even said like there was a perfect mix during that transition part that goes where Fred's like, oh, new wave British, or I don't know if which one of you guys said it, but you're like, oh, new wave British heavy metal, and then fucking like like a straight up war metal part comes in directly after that, and man, that's such a cool dynamic, and you really don't hear anything like that nowadays. You like Paul said earlier, you can tell that this is a like metal guys making a fucking just brutal, intense album, and it's like moments like that 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 you're getting, I don't know, something truly like good thrash out of it. Even with that ending part that sounds like punkish, and it's like and then Fred said that's like Carnivore. But yeah, Carnivore was kind of doing the same thing too, right? They were kind of a little bit of a crossover band if you
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
they totally
think
were.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, talking about that, it made me think of the Sign of Evil lyrics. And I don't know that I've ever showed you that song, Paul, but that doesn't sound familiar, does it? Violent
No.
Force, Sign of Evil. The lyric are so funny. There's the first one, it says, "I'm the one who killed Jesus Christ. Me is given the sign of evil." And the next line says, "If somewhere soldiers are dying in war, I will be the reason why." I always thought that was terrific. But yeah.
I'm looking at the lyrics for this shit. It's well, you can imagine.
For Black Shepherd?
Yeah. Black Shepherd.
Black Shepherd?
Destructor, survivor, a dictator of nature, tormentor. You take distrustful and violent, distrustful and lonesome. You murder to eat, disowned and disgusted. The torment of mankind, it's you. You can't lose, animal.
You can't lose. Anima!
God, this guy's vocals are so good. I kind of can't get over it. I'll probably be playing this
Yeah.
for people at parties and things.
Yeah, if they can keep up.
Can you keep up, poser?
Yeah, because
Apparently
it's
it's really
like
good.
these are like, I guess,
Oh my god.
like a minute over like grind song lengths, you know, because they're like all
Yeah.
2-minute songs and shit.
I'm looking at the lyrics for the title track, Immortal Aggression. Some great stuff here. It says, "Launch the attack. I would love to conquer all. Blood on my hands. Senseless death as victims fall." And then you go down a few lines. It says, "Kill, rape, fight the hunger. I feel his hate. Gonna rape that corpse." And then there's another line down. It says, "Want to screw her twice? Then digging up another corpse." This is great. This is truly fucking stupid, but like really, really metal. I really like those lyrics. They are stupid, but that's okay. I like it. I like how stupid that is, and maybe it's not even stupid. Maybe it's like genius. The kind of the true immortal aggression that's actually coming out here.
Yeah, you don't got time to be correct.
This is totally this is totally inhuman, like I said. And yeah, man, I really do think I'm gonna be playing this kind of on the reg. Some of these tracks are fucking like, yeah, man, these are terrific.
Yeah,
Oh
born,
yeah, man, look at that corpse, man. Oh, she's beautiful, man.
Born to wipe out, annihilation. My goal, I shall destroy every creature, great and small. I came here.
Born to shit, forced to wipe.
But yeah, great pick, Fred.
Great
this is,
gurgles.
This is beyond
Joseph
thrash.
Goebbels.
I had no idea it was reissued when I picked it too, so that's good timing. Now it's
BBR
anyone
always staying
who's
relevant.
listening to this can go get a copy pretty easily now. I had the a bootleg that came out in like 2010, maybe a bit earlier. It has one of the demos as bonus tracks, but it's pretty good sounding. Pretty good sounding boot. It's a CD.
You know, and
Yeah.
to kind of reiterate that transition riff, that you know, it was so short, but I feel like it was really important. There was a band from Germany from 1987 called Adrian. Either of you guys know what that is? Paul, I might have showed you. Yeah, Adrian.
Yeah,
I might have showed you, Paul. Do you know what that is, Adrian?
I remember you showed me it. I don't remember what it sounds like.
It's epic. It's like this. Okay, if Black Shepherd was a normal heavy metal band, it would sound like Adrian.
The
I
one with
think.
the spider on it with the egg.
Yeah, the one with the spider on it, and there's a guy with a gun, and the spider monster's like protecting the eggs. Fred, do you see what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool album. Actually, you know, this whole thing, not everything on this album is normal. I'm remembering the song track 4, "The White Death." That one's pretty fast for. I think they're kind of considered like a, what does it say, power speed metal? Yeah, heavy power metal. So that might make sense. But this band is definitely not totally normal.
This ain't right.
It ain't right, but in a right kind of way. This was like one of those YouTube specials from high school that still, you know, I haven't forgot it after all these years. I don't listen to this too often, but it's just one of those things.
I just love that anytime anyone tells you the fastest thrash album is Slayer's Rain and Blood. No. Listen to Black Shepherd.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to what, like looking at some of their similar artists. Are there any thrash bands that are faster than this? Because this is actually pretty fast. Schizo? Is Schizo faster?
Yeah, but they cheat because they blast.
Yeah. These guys don't blast, and maybe that. I think that is cheating. In thrash, you probably. Yeah, I think it's cheating if you blast. Kind of like Holy Terror. We talked about that. They don't blast.
Yeah, because they're.
Yeah.
I'm for sure think Black Shepherd's faster than Holy Terror though.
Yeah, they're more. They're a little bit more extreme. Their albums both came out in the same year, but this is more.
Maybe Dark Angel, but I think this is way faster than that too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
I think the thing is too, like this. Not only is it hyper fast, but it doesn't even really slow down anywhere.
No,
Like,
it does, but for not for long, and
No.
not enough for you to like be comfortable.
yeah, you can't,
it goes
can't settle in the groove.
Yeah, you can't settle down. You're gonna be bouncing along the whole time.
Yeah, it's like blurring the lines. Like thrash nowadays, they'll have the mosh part. It's like you're just supposed to be moshing this the whole time because you're gonna miss it if you don't.
yeah.
Gonna hurt yourself, kid.
But want to get into my song?
No, let's just skip yours.
Yeah.
All right, good night, everybody.
All right. See ya.
Which one was your pick?
I picked Lord of Darkness.
Lord of Darkness.
You okay?
No. Well, I was trying to like remember how the vocals sound. It almost sounds like he's got a mouthful of shit. It's like.
Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to spit something out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Let's see, Lord of.
Alright, we're back from listening to the track I picked, Lord of the Darkness or Lord of Darkness.
I think it's just Lord of Darkness. That's what has listed on the back of the LP. I think it's just a typo on YouTube.
That whole ending section, I thought it sounded like the Misfits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
'Cause he's
definitely the most
almost-
varied track on the album.
He's almost clean singing.
Almost.
Yeah, but I just picked it because it was like, alright, these guys, they're human. They need to slow down once an album.
Yeah, on the remastered version, I think that was like the final track.
Yeah, and then it goes into Little Bitch.
Little Bitch was cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not hear the remastered version.
Yeah, I like this track because it has like that heavy metal part, and then or new wave of heavy British heavy metal, and then it goes into like that punk riff and shit, and then they just have like a huge intro with like a build up on the toms, and then it just kind of shoots into a solo, and they even have over the punk part they just throw in a solo that's like double time of the riff space, so it's just interesting.
Yeah, there's like two transition parts, like right, kind of, like there's a transition part that sounds like Holocausto. That one riff, like it's like, but theirs is a little bit more complicated than Holocausto's was. And then you got another riff, the faster one. Then you got another, that one that you were talking about, the like new wave one. But that one sounds fucked up. It sounds like discordant or something.
Yeah, because the rest of the band was like doing punches over it, so it was weird. But yeah, just like when I heard that one stuck out because like the rest was just like a blur, and I had to listen to this like 5 times in order to like actually hear what was going on.
And there is a lot going on. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's not filler at all.
No, it's not just noise. It's fucking wicked.
Oh, even that transition
Yeah.
riff again. It doesn't only sound like new wave stuff. It kind of reminded me of like something that could be a surf rock riff. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like it could be like from the Atlantics or the Ventures or something like that.
That's funny, and yet I hear it.
Yeah, and I like I said when we were listening to this, I didn't notice on the artwork that there's an alien that
Yeah,
looks like
The
Alien.
the little xenomorph.
Yeah, there's a little xenomorph on the album. And did the movie Aliens, had this come out by 1988? I'm sure it did, right? Yeah, because
The first one,
yeah, it was
yeah.
1980,
Yeah, well over.
1986. No, I mean the second one, the one with Bill Paxton.
Hmm.
I think that's
Oh.
the one where he goes, "Game over, man, game over."
Yeah, it is. I don't remember when that came out.
86.
86? Okay.
You like Bill Paxton?
Yeah. Of course.
You
He's in
remember him
Terminator
in?
as well.
Yeah, he is. Do you remember him in? What was that other 80s movie? The one with the girl that comes out of the computer. What the fuck was that movie called? With Anthony Michael Hall. Weird Science. You ever see that? Where Bill Paxton is the older brother. He's like a real dick to his younger brother. And he
If
has
I
a couple
have
of
seen
really
it, it
good
was
lines.
Fucking a long time ago.
He like walks in with, he always has a cigar in his mouth, and he has like this military kind of flat top haircut. And he walks into the party. He goes, "You're stewed, buttwad." I thought that was a great line. And then they turn him into like that. They turn him into like some little fucking slimy monster because they have, I don't know, computer powers or something. That movie really didn't make any sense if you remember what it
Well,
was.
it doesn't need to.
No, I guess not. You know who was in it too? That fucking that Pinhead guy, that bald Pinhead from The Hills Have Eyes, the OG Hills Have Eyes. And like him and a bunch of fucking mutants kind of come into the party. Like they look like Mad Max Road Warrior kind of guys. And the Anthony Michael Hall character, he like points a gun at him and he's like, "Get the hell out of here." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here." And he's like, "Hey, would you mind not telling anybody about this? I don't want to lose my teaching job." I always thought that was funny.
Yeah. I don't know. This album is, it took me longer to get into thrash, which is a little weird, I guess, but black and death metal worked for me, and thrash kind of came later. And I think this album really bridged it a lot for me because it's so extreme that it was more what I was used to, and like to this day, it's still one of my favorite thrash albums. Like, it's fantastic. Love every second of it.
Is that why you weren't super familiar with Violent Force
Yeah.
as
No,
not a thrash guy?
like, I'm still like, black and death metal are kind of tied for me. I think black metal like edges it out a little bit just in terms of quantity that I have in my own collection, but
Yeah.
thrash is third, but
The-
comparatively it's not close.
The parallel universe, thrash Death Horizon.
Thrash
Thrash
Death Horizon. Yeah,
I like it.
parallel universe. Yeah, but I mean, even back in the days where I was listening to thrash a lot, I mean, it wasn't like every song was a winner. I knew that. I knew that back then. Like there were some winner songs and there weren't. You know what this is kind of like too? A little bit. Another German band, Darkness. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The what was it called?
Death Squad.
Because I remember Death Squad being
Yeah.
pretty fast. It's been not too long actually, but I remember that one being pretty damn fast. And if you even look at the album cover, it's like somewhat similar to the vibe that the guys have going in their album or their promo pic, except they like drew themselves as zombies or something.
It's like taking out a Thriller.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
What
I have
about,
that on. It's really good.
Yeah.
The problem I have with thrash is when they venture too far into clean vocals, and then I can get really picky. Like, I don't like it if the vocals are too clean.
So something like
And-
Paradox, maybe, right?
Yeah, something like that. And if they're not done the right way, then it's a major turnoff. But if it's thrash metal with more growled or screamed vocals, then I'm usually more on board with it. So this is clearly more the latter. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say Death Row too. There, that if you remember the song "Raging Steel," that opening is fucking pretty incredible too. It kind of opens with like some cymbal hits, and then you get one guy yelling, ah, and then you get another, yeah. You kind of get both of these simultaneously, and I think that's really terrific. And even listening to that too, that's like kind of a little bit thrashing black metal in 1987. I don't think it was meant to be like black metal-ish, but it just happens to be. I think that's the way it kind of went with the earlier thrash bands, right? They kind of just happened to sound like proto black metal, right?
Mhm.
Because you wouldn't call them a black thrash band then.
No, well, I mean, back then, black metal wasn't really established as a genre, right? So
Yeah. As I think thrash probably was up until like what, or like since like what, maybe 1983 with Slayer, Metallica, and Exodus and things.
mhm.
Yeah. So then you just kind of get more extreme versions, and a lot of that is coming from Germany, and you know, probably Brazil and you know, some of the South American countries that are just fucking around. I mean, because think about Poison. Poison kind of like totally resonates with the Brazilian stuff too. I think it seems like those two scenes, Germany and Brazil, were like simultaneous with extreme. We don't even have to call it thrash; it's extreme metal at the time, because that's like the thing that was going on.
Yeah, Teutonic and then the Gargamelo scene, for sure.
Yeah, and probably, you know, like bands that are other bands from other South American countries and other bands from like neighboring countries close to Germany, or just like Europe in general sometimes.
Yeah, but then you get bands like fucking Martyr doing some crazy ass shit in like the same
In
time.
Australia.
Yeah.
But then even kind of at the same time you also have Necrovore doing that too. So maybe the scenes kind of collide and converge, or like converge, where it's like a lot of different scenes and countries are, maybe they don't know about the other ones, but they're all kind of just growing and doing the same things that are going to become like, you know, same thing with like death and black metal. They're all kind of growing together and going in different directions, some more extreme and some less. But yeah, I think I think the fastest shit, like this, is just excellent.
Yeah, and there's like no hiccups with it. Like this one, I feel like it's not sloppy at all. Like all the whole tracks are just fluid with everything that they're doing. They're like stop on a dime, they'll start on a dime, and I might have to listen more and more to find some like little mistakes or something. But why would I want to do that?
Yeah, it's true that they're actually quite on time with what they're doing, but just the way, especially when there's solos involved, there's such flailing solos, and the production on it, with drumming being so frantic, it sounds like it's falling apart, but it's holding together. But it just sounds like the least thing goes wrong, everything can go out the window. But it never really does.
Yeah, these guys
Yeah.
played till their fucking instruments broke.
Yeah, no, that drum kit was just a pile of dust at the end for them. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it doesn't really even sound like anything is off, even though the drums may sound like they're off at times. It catches up and it picks up
But
every time there's a change.
I think that's just because it's like they're not playing drums to the riffs. They're just fucking keeping the thrash beat the whole time, and the riffs have different rhythms at it, so it kind of like picks up on those certain spots rather than like being like a regular thrash riff with that thrash beat.
Yeah, I feel like the same can be said about like the debut Sodom album, which was, I don't know what, 1985 or six probably. You guys are
The
both familiar with that one a lot, right? The Obsessed with Evil, or Obsessed by Evil, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed by
I-
Cruelty?
Obsessed by Cruelty. There you go. Thinking of the Sign of Evil. But yeah, Obsessed by Cruelty.
Which version, though? Oh.
I don't know, because there's two different versions, right?
The one that
Yeah.
you listen to, Fred.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. I know I've heard both versions for sure,
I feel
but I don't
like-
remember which one is the one that most, or that I should be listening to. I really have no idea.
I feel like Fred's gonna go with Bonsai.
I guess it depends on what you want to hear, right? The American version was the version they weren't happy with.
Yeah, that was the one because they recorded it twice, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And the American version winds up it's missing a track, first of all. But the American version is kind of like production's worse. It's a sloppier performance overall, and for that reason, it's a bit more in line within the Sign of Evil. And then the European version sounds tighter. It sounds cleaner, and that puts it more in line with, say, Destruction or the bands that were not quite as sloppy as early as Sodom were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, to me, when they align more a bit more with the other Teutonic bands, because the first like the earliest Sodom and that rougher recording in the first album was really sloppy black thrash, and then when they shifted over to a bit of a cleaner sound, it kind of like drained a bit of the black out of it. So, but I think either version is just as essential as the other. Like, they're from the same time, they're the same songs, except for the one that's missing. But yeah. Sorry, Dan, go on.
No, even for 1986, I'm looking at some of these track names. They're really weird, all of them. Death Like Silence, Brandish the Scepter, Obsessed by Cruelty, The Fall of Majesty Town, Volcanic Slut, Noctamarian. They're all very strange. And I mean, maybe you can school me a little bit, Fred, but from what I remember, this is like the most different Sodom album that I've heard. It's even very different from like In the Sign of Cruelty, or oh my god, I keep doing that. Fucking Sign of Evil, dude. Sign of Evil, because that's like a little bit more Motorhead-esque, and
Yeah.
Obsessed by Cruelty is kind of like a proto Order from Chaos or something, and they don't ever really go back to that sound, and they didn't sound like that before. It's a really interesting piece, especially for '86.
Yeah. Yeah, because Persecution Mania kind of put them more in line with straight up thrash.
Yeah.
Obsessed is kind of an anomaly, but it's
Yeah, it is. It's so
to me-
weird.
to me, it's kind of still a natural continuation of In the Sign of Evil. And like I said, if you listen to that American dirtier version, that connection is more obvious. I still think it flows into Persecution Mania, but as you go, they kind of just, like I said, they kind of just drain the black metal out of it more and more until you wind up with Persecution Mania, which is basically just straight up thrash, right?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a loss of interest for me personally when it comes to maybe some of the later Sodom stuff. Probably at Masquerade in Blood, because I've never heard that album.
You know, I actually enjoy Sodom all the way through, and for the upcoming issue of Metal Legion, I reviewed the new EP they put out, 1982, where they basically re-recorded songs from their demos, and they had a new song on there called 1982 that was just written the same style as those older tracks. And you know, when it comes to re-recording old songs like that, the obvious problem is that those new songs, first of all, have the disadvantage of being like fucking 40 years newer. So the other songs have 40 years of nostalgia to contend with, which they're never going to top those. And that sloppiness and that raw playing from back in those days, compared to like their current skill level and studio availability, it's going to sound completely different. That said, they pulled them off really, really well. Like, they sound really good, and I enjoy that AP all the way through. Hearing these tracks played in their current form, where they're still like proficient with their instruments, but didn't like, how would I say this? They didn't like overdo it. Like, they played it the way they would have played it back then, but with a bit more skill. So, no, it was a lot of fun to listen to, and kind of the same thing with the re-recording of Sign of Evil with all those extra tracks. It's loyal to what it was, and what it was supposed to be, and yeah, I don't know, they're still fun. Like, I have which one I really like? Code Red. Code Red is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's another one I don't think I've really heard. I did like Agent Orange. I think everybody like unanimously liked that one.
Yeah, Agent Orange is great.
And there was I don't know if you've ever heard anything off M16 or not, but I remember getting a like, you know, back in the LimeWire days, getting like random songs from random albums. I got Marines. Do you remember the song Marines from Sodom? It's kind of a slower track.
I don't remember that song, no. But Napalm in the Morning was fantastic from that album.
I do remember that one too. Marines is really funny. It was like the chorus. It goes, "Marines, keep your honor clean. Marines, the fight's for you, Marines." I don't know. I always thought that was funny.
But then there's the cover at the end of that. Bird, bird, bird. The bird is the word. Let it bird, bird, bird.
Oh, I remember that. Holy shit. That was actually cool. I remember the surfing bird cover. And I remember the part where he's like, that part was more fucked up than the original version, which was already pretty weird. From like, what, the early 60s, maybe?
Yeah. No,
that's
no,
wild
Sodom's
stuff.
like, I think of the Teutonic 3, Sodom is the only one where I think pretty much the entire way through they're listenable. Like, Creator had some duds, Destruction had some duds.
Yeah, they do.
I think Sodom's Worst is still listenable. Like, nothing's gonna come close to the least successful Human Cannonball, so.
Fair enough. You know, now thinking about thrash that's good, and something Paul brought up earlier, I just wanted to tell you guys that I really like Rigor Mortis. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that was great. Paul or Fred, I don't think we've ever talked about that band. Did you like Rigor Mortis? Because I thought that first album was like one of the best, and I still come back to it like all the fucking time since back in high school when I found it, maybe in 2009 or 8 or something.
The American thrash band, right?
Yeah. The one from
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're
Yeah, they
fun.
got Vampire and
They're
this.
sick, bro.
They're fun. Yeah, they're fucking sick.
Yeah, they're fun.
amazing.
You got a problem with that?
Real fun.
Oh, yeah,
Why, yada.
Had to clarify. There's also the pre-immolation rigor mortis.
I probably listened to that, but I don't remember. We'll have to do some more music catch up. I like the music catch up here, because I usually ask in the beginning, "What'd you guys do?" But Fred asked, "What have you been listening to?" And I think that leads to more cool conversation, because this is supposed to be a metal show, anyways, right?
Yeah, let's get our personalities out of it.
Well, if you have a personality and you feel like it has to come out and spewed into the microphone, I guess that's just the way it's
Stop
going to be.
being interesting.
Stop having fun!
I have not checked out the later or the other 2 albums from Rigor Mortis. Have you guys?
Me either. No, James always tells me to check it out. Check it out.
Rigor Mortis versus the Earth. And Slaves to the Grave. This is
I
2014.
can't imagine that it's anywhere near as good as the first. How could anything be near as good as that album? I mean, really.
Then they got Freaks, an E EP.
I think Freaks is the last I heard from them.
Where are these guys? Oh, here they are. Yeah, and they got a great logo. Let's see.
Yeah, we brought them up briefly before. What do you guys think of Dead Horse?
I just recently listened to that I forget what it's called, the Flowers album.
Peaceful Death and Pretty Flowers?
Yeah, I recently listened to that. Thought it was okay. I know the guys from Radical Research were really into it. This is funny. I was thinking about bringing this up, but now that you actually brought up Dead Horse, back in the day, I liked their demo, Death Rides a Dead Horse, and then the album, Horsecore. So
Horsecore is great.
Yeah, I thought Horsecore was great, and the demo was great. And it's funny, on Justin Horville's channel, some guy was like shilling his band, and he's like, "Yeah, I heard your demo, Death Rides a Horse." He goes, "Kind of a stupid fucking name," and it kind of made me think, like, how, you named your demo Death Rides a Horse, but Dead Horse had a demo called Death Rides a Dead Horse, and that was like a play on their band, and that was actually kind of funny. But if your band is, if you're doing a demo called Death Rides a Horse, that isn't very cool. Maybe Justin's right about that. That isn't that cool. Yeah, I'm looking here at just a list of thrash bands like similar artists to Rigor Mortis, and a lot of these are the ones. I mean, this is like basic stuff that everybody likes, but maybe you guys would have an opinion. Gamma Side. Do you guys remember Gamma Side at all?
Yeah.
From Texas. You remember them, Paul?
Mm-mm.
You should check them out. It's thrash with blast beats. It's extreme thrash, and it's late, so it's like around this time. It's like around 1989. So, yeah, Gamma Side was terrific. Onslaught. I actually liked the In Search of Sanity album from Onslaught. I think that had the singer from Grim Reaper. I know everybody's into the Power from Hell or whatever, but yeah, I like the more power metal one.
I like both. First 2 are great.
Hyrax, that first album was great. Numbskull. Just recently got into Morbid Scream. That shit's actually pretty cool too. Wait, let me see. Oh yeah.
That's
The Morbid
the
Scream
Texan band,
demos.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like proto death kind of shit. Holy Moses. What else do we have here? Protector.
Holy
Aggression
Moses
is.
rules.
Yo, is this the Aggression I'm thinking of? Is this the one with... Yeah, you guys ever heard of Aggression from Canada?
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's a very strange looking album cover, the full treatment. It's like a witch outside of a factory with a guy tied to a cinder block. It looks very strange. I always thought that was very strange. And I don't remember if that's even good or not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is.
No, that's good. That's great.
Hydravane. You remember Hydravane, Death to False Metal or whatever?
No,
No.
I remember Blood Feast though.
Blood Feast is good. Man-Thrash. Ulysses Siren is pretty good. They were like a little bit power metal. Coroner was good. I never got into the Mist. I've heard people liking the Mist from Brazil, but I never really checked him out too much.
Holy shit! Aggression had an album last year.
It's probably
Who
fucking
would have
good.
thought Aggression had anything besides that one? The only reason I remember Aggression is because they had that weird album cover. Could this possibly be any good? Frozen Aggressors. This album art looks like I don't know, man. It looks like AI kind of something that I don't ever want to listen to. But somebody did review it. Gave it a 77.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, we
It's
know
always
Dan's
it's
next
always
pick.
iffy with thrash because I know we saw Morbid Saint had a new album coming out, and the album artwork it looks terrible.
Oh, that art is painful.
Yeah,
It
it's
reminds
bad.
me of the reminds me of the artwork on the new Razor, which was
It
not
looks like
flattering either.
it looks like the artwork from that As I Lay Dying side project, the Austrian Death Machine.
No, please no.
If you remember that, it kind of looks like that. Or it kind of looks like the Hexen album cover. Fred, do you know what Hexen is? The American, like I think American thrash band. If you look them up on the archives, it says melodic thrash with prog influences.
Oh Lord, no.
It's actually better than it looks. Take a look at that first album cover. It looks a little bit horrendous, but it's actually a lot cooler than you would expect it to be.
You know, this just confirms that I don't like Ed Repka's art.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, he's always got like one person in the foreground, particularly prominent, usually with an unusually big or misshapen hand, and it's really annoying.
Wait, is he the guy that did the 80s ones, or is he doing like more of the retro thrash stuff? Oh no, he did all the classics. He did like Scream Bloody Gore and shit.
Yeah, Scream Bloody Gore is fine, but like, okay, this is like the typical one I can think from him that bothers me.
Oh god.
Go have a look at Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah.
Their second album, Hell on Earth.
I remember this. I remember this being the album that I skipped because I did like Toxic Holocaust a bit.
Yeah, no, Evil Never Dies is great, but
No, Evil Never Dies
kind of-
is good. And even I think after that, I thought An Overdose of Death was good. I still have that fucking CD from way back.
But that artwork is like what I don't like about Ed Repka. You have something happening in the background. You have one person up front and center, and that person has a weird looking hand. I don't think he can do hands very well.
Yeah, he
it's
can't
the same
draw
thing
hands.
on. It's the same thing on Death Spiritual Healing. You have that person sitting in the wheelchair, and their hand is all weird. And you could argue that was done on purpose, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I just don't think he can do hands. I mean, that said, he draws a lot better than I do, but
That's not the guy who did the Evil Dead artwork, is it?
couldn't tell you.
Could have sworn because it looks kind of similar.
Oh, the other one he did, Solstice, the American Solstice.
Oh, Transmo Glorified or whatever.
What?
The death metal band, right?
The the one from Florida, the Death Thrash band.
Yeah.
The first album is self-titled,
Rob,
has the guy.
Yeah, Rob Barrett. I always thought that was a cool looking one.
Yeah, but look at maybe it'll bother you forever now, but look at the cover.
Let's
There's
see.
one guy in the front, in the foreground, and he's got a weird looking hand.
Let's see if he has a weird looking hand.
The hand, for some reason, is closer than everything else. Like, he does that a lot. Like, that's that perspective of the hand is closer to you than everything else. So it's bigger than everything else.
Yeah, Rob Barrett, Solstice, Transmogrified. Yeah, I guess the hand is just bigger. It's like, yeah, it's the biggest thing on the page.
Yep.
Haven't gone
I always
for 5
wondered
So-
what that
minutes.
was. I always wondered what that was supposed to be. Is that supposed to be snow? Are they frozen?
Yeah, I think so.
For some reason, I always thought that was either like snow or like fucking anthrax, and they were being like poisoned to death or something. But I guess it makes sense that they're frozen. Maybe I just never got a good look at it. But man, this album is actually really good. This Solstice album. That first song, man, so many good grooves. It's almost Pantera-ish, but in a much better way. Probably like in an Ex-Hoarder type of way.
I know we mentioned the new Morbid Saint and Razor. Did you guys hear the new Hell Witch?
Nah, dude, has Hell Witch been fucking active? Because really, the only thing I know by them is that goddamn, what's it called, schismatic whatever,
Syzygial Miscreancy.
Syzygial Miscreancy. No, I didn't even know they had other albums. I never heard any of their other shit besides that 1990 album.
I never heard their second album from
Ugh,
15
God,
15
it
years
looks
ago.
like a bad power metal album cover.
You know what? The cover is not good, but the
No, it
album's
looks like
actually,
shit. Dude,
But the
what
album's
is it
actually
about?
pretty good.
Yeah?
It's solid.
Dude,
Yeah.
what is it about fucking albums that look like this, that have artwork like this, that are so off-putting? Is it that it's modern? Or, I mean, what is it? Because, I mean, I always felt the same way. You know, you can tell, like, oh, this artwork is awesome, and then, I don't know about this. What is it about that artwork that is so goddamn offensive? Because it looks like power metal artwork. Like, power metal from maybe, like, 2010 or something.
Okay, you know what I think it is? Hear me out. It's the band logo. Imagine the same cover, but the band logo is like smaller in the top left and just black without the 3D effect that it has.
Yeah, dude, I think you're right about the 3D effect. That's always a bad look, and it's always a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Because like in and of itself, if I like block out the logo, the artwork isn't bad. Like it kind of is what it is. But I think that 3D effect on the logo looks goofy. It looks very 2000s. If it was just like flat with just one color, I don't think it'd be that bad.
I think when it comes to artwork like that, especially for, and this is like, these are like the biggest offenders that do this, like fucking Morbid Saint and like Hell Witch. It seems like thrash bands kind of lose their way. Like, say Hell Witch's first album, or I with this newer stuff, I feel like it's trying to give a more grandiose appearance than it actually is, and you kind of can tell that right away. You're like, oh, this is really cheesy. They're trying to make their album look like it's this godlike godlike thing when it's probably going to be mediocre. But you look at something like Hell Witch's first album cover, and it's just like, huh? Let's give this a listen. And you look at Morbid Saint's first album cover, you go, oh, whoa. It's kind of just like confusing, but also badass in a way. Or even something like, say, look at Whiplash's first album cover, like Power and Pain. It has a different effect. You know what I mean? Where
fact.
you kind of know it's gonna be badass, as opposed to an album cover that's trying to show you that it's godlike or they always use this like kind of Roman aesthetic, if you notice that too.
Yeah, fun fact.
Like they use a Roman old world aesthetic.
Fun fact: the Whiplash Power and Pain was the old thumbnail for Big Billy.
It was. That's a great album.
Yeah.
Paul, you never got into that album, did you?
No, I did. I like it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrific. The lyrics are so good on that, and man, it's just so engaging. For 1985, it's yeah, that album is something. I think you know, it's kind of strange with like newer guys who are into metal. I feel like they skip thrash a lot. Even guys like Paul's age have kind of skipped the thrash thing, or just never gave a fuck. Or even Drew too. He didn't give a fuck about that kind of shit. But there's definitely some good shit to come back to. Like Whiplash, for sure. If you don't like Whiplash, I'm afraid you've lost me.
Yeah, well, you always showed me like the standout albums that were actually interesting for thrash, because I kind of just took it as like a whole like blanket of that whole genre of just not liking it. But you know, you showed me Whiplash, Cranium, and Rigor Mortis, so like, you know.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like I liked everything back in the day, especially thrash. I kind of liked a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that's to be forgotten, and there's a lot of stuff like unconsciously I just forgot. and unconsciously I kind of kept some of the best like in my mind, and I think that just kind of proves which albums are like you never forget. There are certain albums you like have in your the back of your mind. There's some that you have in the front of your mind, and then there's other ones that are like subconscious. You're like Acrofet or something, where you're gonna listen to it and you'll be like, well, this is an underground thrash band, but it's pretty
It's just thrash,
fucking
man.
it's just mid, really.
It's just thrash.
It's just thrash. Whereas
It's
opposed
just
to
thrash.
you know, like the shit you're talking. And, you know, these are big bands anyways, like Rigor Mortis and Whiplash and Hellwitch and Morbid Saint. These are all the ones that everyone remembers, but I think everyone remembers them for a reason. And that's not to say that underground thrash like Black Shepherd should be forgotten, because I you know, listening to Black Shepherd now, I had never heard of them. Fred introduced these guys.
But these guys are like on a whole different level from all that thrash.
Oh yeah, they're
This is-
nothing
this-
like
this
that.
is
This is more.
extreme thrash.
This is almost death metal. This is a first wave extreme. This is just an extreme metal band. Let's not even lump them into like thrash, heavy metal. Let's not even lump them in. Let's just say this is an extreme metal album that was like pushing the boundaries, and not only of its time, it's heavier and more intense than a lot of death metal coming out now. So this album says fuck you, and I also say fuck you, and but to Black Shepherd I say we're not worthy or something like that.
I thought we were gonna go with fuck yeah. I just
Fuck
felt-
yeah, fuck yeah.
It just felt in theme.
Do you guys know the YouTube channel Hipster Black Metal, right?
No.
You guys don't know that channel? Paul, you know who that is, right?
Mm-mm. Don't remember.
You don't
at
know
least.
Hipster Black Metal, really?
Don't remember at least.
Oh, well, it was this guy that was like always shitting on hipster black metal bands. I remember he had a video with Rob Flynn. You guys, if you Rob Flynn was the guitar player from fucking Violence and I think Machine Head, and he fucking made a video where he was like apologizing for Phil Anselmo doing the Roman salute and saying white power at the show. You remember when Phil Anselmo did that?
Yeah.
And he got in trouble for it. Yeah, Rob Flynn, the guitar player for, I think he was doing with Down or something, but he was like apologizing for Phil Anselmo, saying he's not racist or whatever. And the hipster black metal guy kind of did like a voiceover thing. He's like, yeah, where he's like talking about it. He goes, I'm not racist, and then the channel would add like these things. It would go, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I thought that was funny. So Black Shepherd, fuck yeah. I'll
Yeah.
find that video. It's funny.
Should we
I'll
get
send it
into
to
our,
you
our
guys.
final words?
Yes, go.
All right. Let's see. This is a thrash album. Fred thought he was gonna stop me, but this is the most extreme thrash, like in between the Brazilian scene and like the Teutonic thrash. Like it sounds like Slayer and Rigor Mortis with coming out on like along with like Sarcophago and shit like that, are played by those musicians, but maybe it's like their second release because they got a little bit better and tighter. But yeah, this thing just does not stop from beginning to end, but like there's no filler at all in between it, because the times that I've listened to this throughout the week, I've been listening, and I should have probably fucking slowed it down on YouTube or something to hear what the fuck the riffs are going. But you know, whenever I do catch them, they're always great, and like I said, not filler at all, and not the thrash that I hate. It's extreme metal, extreme thrash, and I feel like even out of thrash, and even like some war metal bands and black metal bands, death metal bands, they all kind of lost that aggression, I guess, when the 90s hit. You know, there's some here and there, but there's something special about this time, like 88, 87, 89, that was just completely unhinged. It didn't matter what you were labeled as, and, you know, Black Shepherd proves that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Daniel, go.
All right. I think I was kind of doing a little bit of digging for like black metal bands and black death sort of things that I was hoping to find something new, and listening to Black Shepherd now, I feel like Black Shepherd is more, not just like I said before about them being kind of more aggressive and faster and heavier than a lot of death metal bands nowadays. They're actually more epic than a lot of bands that try way too hard to be epic, whether it is with something like the Mastodon riff in black metal, or when it comes to artwork, where I'm trying to think if I can think of an artwork. God, do you remember what that band was that Drew showed us? That death metal band, Paul, with the red cover.
Red cover. No.
Yeah,
I remember.
he showed us Aeosoft.
Yeah. That's. They didn't have a red cover, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's another example. I think who would be another example of this? Evangelist maybe. I feel like there's these very artsy album covers that looks like they would be in a fucking art museum or something, and bands use these to portray themselves as a giant, epic, important album, important band.
Yeah, this isn't just
And-
metal. This is music, man.
Yeah, this is music. This is not. I'm gonna try to appeal to everyone, all music fans. But I don't think you should appeal to all music fans. I think it's either you fucking get it or you don't. It's like you like it or you fucking don't. And Black Shepherd kind of does that. They kind of are more epic than a lot of newer bands that portray themselves as epic. They're heavier than something like Frozen Soul. They're faster than them for sure. And not only that, like even bands in the 90s that are doing things like even like something like Pertinence or Convulse, who are like favorites of mine. This is way more intense than shit like that. Even from Sweden, like this kind of blows a lot of that stuff out of the water when it comes to intensity and aggression. And I also touched on this earlier, where there is a way in being a thrash metal band to kind of do it all. And I think this band has accomplished that in 1988. And so I guess from there, I'll be showing this to people at parties. I'll be putting this on the reg. This is going to be one of my regular fucking listening things from now on. It's awesome. And it's empowering. What did you say, Paul?
Is that one of the best Fred picks?
Yeah, it might be the best Fred pick for me. Let's see. I kind of want to just take a minute and scroll through what we have and see if this is, because this very much might be my favorite Fred pick. So what did
Not
Fred
Lullaby?
Ungodly Death.
Favorite
Let's
to
see.
hate, yeah.
So Ungodly Death. What else did you do, Fred? Incarnator. You did
Incarnator.
Lord Blast. You did
Amen.
Lord Blasphemate. You did Dawnfall. You did
Murder Rape.
Suffocation. Lullaby. Amen. Oh, okay. So yes, indeed, this is my favorite Fred pick. Best of the bunch.
All right.
And I won't say by a long shot, because Fred's had some pretty darn good ones. But yeah, Fred, you picked a classic. This is now a classic for me. Thank you for showing me this band. I had never heard of them, and feel like an ass for never hearing them. But now I feel like a cool guy because we did an episode about it.
You're always cool,
Yeah,
Dan.
well, I'm glad it turned out that way.
Thanks, Paul.
I
You
wasn't trying to stump Paul. I was trying to pick a thrash album that he would like, and I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah, you're like, thrash ain't
Dan-
all bad.
Dan, I didn't really have any doubts that he would like this. I didn't necessarily think he would like it as much as he does, but yeah, no, this is for me when it comes to just straight up thrash. This one is top 10, probably top 5 for me. I just love this album. It's blazingly fast. It's brutal. It's unrepentant. It sounds like it's just flailing in every possible direction. The vocals are great. It's been one of my favorites for a long time, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And like I said, when I picked it, didn't realize it had been reissued. I'm so glad that it has. I'm sure the remaster sounds fine because the original's pretty messy, and it was Vic Records that reissued it, and then they do a good job with the
Yeah, they also did Leukemia too, I think.
yeah, they did. They've done some really, really good reissues, so they're I'm not worried about the quality of the reissue, and I'm gonna grab a copy eventually. But they also reissued the demo a couple years back. But yeah, I mean, you've heard everything we've had to say about it. We've drawn comparisons to South American bands, the German bands, and even like black grind and like touches of death metal.
Tiny bit of crossover.
Yeah, to me, it just sounds like Sodom and Destruction crashed into Sarcophago and Mutilator, and somehow Naked Whipper got thrown into there as well, and then they just turned the speed up as high as their odometer could go. So,
Goddamn vocals.
And then some.
yeah. No, one of the most intense albums I've ever heard, and just... And even despite the fact that it's so intense and doesn't really let up, I don't find that it drags on. It doesn't feel overly samey, even though they don't really do anything tremendously different from song to song. It's just the violence and aggression is just so over the top, it just doesn't get old. So, yeah, no, definitely worth checking out for, I think, anyone into extreme metal, to be honest.
So, I like this album. Am I no longer a poser ball?
Well, we'll talk.
Well, we didn't give you that name. That was given to you by some 21-year-old.
I feel free now.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
It's always a king.